Hey everybody, I'm Adriana and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be hanging out with you guys today because today is going to be a very fun day and potentially very interesting. Today I'm going to be doing my trial makeup and hair for the wedding. We are officially like 37-ish days out, a month and 5 days according to my Instagram countdown. But I'm going to be doing my own hair and makeup for the wedding, and so if you guys don't know, I am not a beauty guru. I am not a fancy schmancy gal in that department, but I do think I have pretty decent skills enough to do my own hair and makeup, and I don't really like anything too crazy glamorous anyways, so it's going to be more of like a natural, like a, not natural, but like fancy natural. You can already see where this is going. So that's what today's gonna be like. But before we do that, I am gonna take you guys along for my day just because I feel like I haven't done a little day in my life in a while and I just want to hang out with you guys. So we're gonna do some of that. I really don't have anything crazy going on today. But today I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about my quiet time this morning because I've been reading through Colossians, and I am gonna do a Colossians Bible study with me series coming up pretty soon. And I'm thinking about different ways to do my Bible study with me series, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So we're doing that, and then we're gonna go work out, which really just means 20 minutes on the elliptical and then go take a shower, because I need to get some physical activity in as part of my New Year's goals and resolutions. And then we're gonna go to Target because I have 40% off on like some of their furniture, so I'm gonna see what they have. And then I want to go to Ulta and return some makeup that I bought, buy a new bronzer, and then go to Goodwill real quick. Goodwill, I might hold off until tomorrow. We shall see what we're doing when it comes to time. And then we will get down to the hair and makeup, but I want to be snappy about it because I obviously want to see if it if it surpasses the test of time. There we go. Okay. So that's what we're going to be up to today, but really the bulk of this video is going to be hair and makeup and then answering you guys' questions that you guys left on my Instagram story, just because I figured it can be a chatty video and it'll be fun to hear what you guys want to know about the wedding and life and all that good stuff, and then I will share all your answers. So I'm excited about that. But on to what I read in Colossians today. I'm gonna cut myself off real quick because I started to get a little too deep into it. I'm just gonna briefly tell you guys about the verse that really stuck out to me, and then we'll go into it in the Bible study with me series. So hold out for that, and I will tag that in here when it is up. But the verses that stuck out to me were Colossians 1:9-14, where Paul says, "And so, from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will, in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sin." Something that struck me about that is like, why don't I pray for people like that? Why don't I pray about myself like that? Paul in this prayer here is already laying out so many things about how we should be praying for people and praying for ourselves, and that's just like beyond the point of what he's saying here. And that's just something that struck me this morning. So this morning I like wrote out and I broke it down, which I'll share with you guys in the Bible study series. It was a good thing for me just to think about, like, especially in a time where I feel like I'm praying, trying to be intentional in my prayers for myself and my family members and my friends and my fiance. Just a good way to like break down like what specific things I want to pray for them about, and how it's going to strengthen them in their walk with the Lord and in the world. So that was what I went over this morning. If you want to go check out that verse, go ahead and do it, but we will go over it together in the Bible study series. But let's go ahead and wake up, get on the elliptical, and start our day. Alrighty guys, so we are out of the shower, and for the purposes of this video only, I'm going to be obnoxious and wear my bride shirt from my bachelorette party, which you guys will see a vlog about shortly. Not super shortly, but definitely before the wedding. So yeah, I'm just gonna wear this today. If I was a cartoon character, this would be my outfit. Colored leggings,
these gold sandals that I never take off my feet, this jean jacket, and some form of white graphic tee. So that's what we're wearing today, since we'll be coming right back after. I am fresh-faced and clean in the face department because I want it to be nice and fresh for when I do my makeup. And my hair is dirty, so today I'm going to be doing my hair with like literally week-old hair. I can go without washing my hair for like an entire week and it doesn't feel gross, doesn't look gross, anything like that. I just have pretty dry hair, so I can do that. Again, anything in this video, I'm not telling you to do it. This is just what I do. I'm not a professional, so don't listen to me. But yeah, this is dirty hair for us to curl and hairspray the heck out of later. But I'm going to go to Target. I need to get toothpaste. I need to get a brush. I want to see, I heard on TikTok or somewhere that they had Function of Beauty at Target, and I've been really wanting to try it, but I don't want to pay all the money for it, so I'm gonna go see if they have that there. I'm gonna look at the furniture, I'm gonna go to Ulta, return something, buy something, come back, and then we will get to our hair and makeup. And you guys are already sending in really awesome questions that I realized I've never talked about before, so I'm really excited. But also, if you notice like all this stuff behind me, my room is currently a storage. That's awkward. This, at my bachelorette party, my bridesmaids, we played a game called what is it called? It's called Drop Your Panties. I promise I did not have a vulgar bachelor party at all, but like at all, but it was a fun game where like they all bought like a pair of underwear for me and I had to like guess who bought what, and Sophie bought me lingerie and that was sitting there, so that's what that was. But anyways, moving on, my room has just kind of become storage for all of the things for the apartment. And like it literally overflows out into like our front of the house, so I feel very blessed. Also, the under of my bed is just like full of stuff, so I feel very blessed to have all these things, but I truly can't wait to get them out of my room because the mess is driving me crazy. But let's go ahead and go to Target.
It was a slightly longer trip than I would have liked it to have been, just because the Ulta that I went to did not have the lip color I needed, so I had to go to a different Ulta. But from Target, I got this really pretty lamp for one of our bedside tables. It was 40% off because it was on the, it was part of like the Pillow Fort brand from Target, and that was all 40% off with Target Circle. And there we go. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's really, really cute. So we have that, and then I found these two really pretty ceramic vases in the dollar spot. They're just scalloped at the top and they're like a nice pretty gray color, and I felt like these would be really, really cute to have on our little table that's going to go next to the couch so that we can put remotes in it, or even on the coffee table. I just felt like they would be cute to put remotes or whatever stuff like that in, just because I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of remotes. And then I bought one for our bedroom as well, or if we want to put it somewhere else we can do that too, or even in like the kitchen sink. And then I got, those are from the dollar spot, and then I also bought this from the Target dollar spot, which is just like a pretty acrylic calendar with like the gold chain, and I thought this would be cute to put up with a magnetic hook on the kitchen refrigerator, just so that we can actually write off with a dry erase marker like what our meals are going to be every day of the week, because one of my goals was to meal prep and really cook all of our meals, so I thought this would be cool so we know what's coming up. Then I got some toothpaste. And then a couple of things that we'll be using today. I got the Hoola bronzer, the Benefit Hoola bronzer in caramel. And I also got this LA Girl lip liner that matches perfectly with the Tarte Lippy Lingerie matte tint in the color Envy. And we're going to be using these today. So I'm going to go ahead and set up, because I'm definitely going to need to improve our lighting situation, so that you guys can see everything that I'm doing, and we're gonna get real up close and personal. Quite literally, you're gonna be on my face probably, so let's go do that. Alrighty friends, so it is time to put the hair up. We're going to start with makeup, just because I feel like that's what I normally start with whenever I'm doing like my hair and makeup just in general. So that's what we're gonna start with. This is the best I could do when it comes to lighting at the moment because it's about 4:05 right now, which means the light gets pretty crazy around this time just because the sun is moving so much as it's setting, and I wanted something consistent that's gonna last us throughout the whole video. So we're just gonna throw the hair up, keep the blinds closed, and use the artificial lighting. But this is what we have for now. I would say the lighting's pretty decent as far as it goes on my face. I think it is washing out my color just a little bit because I do have two mirrors next to me right now. But I think this will be just fine. I am fresh faced at the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and take my ring off just because I don't like getting makeup on it or anything like that. But let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so the first product we're going to use today is the L'Oreal Paris Visible Lift Foundation. I've been using this literally my entire life. When I tell you I've been using it since like my freshman year of high school, I literally have. And I always get compliments on my complexion and my skin and my foundation. So I'm definitely going to break it out for the wedding day. But it is just like a pump, and I just pump it onto the back of my hand, and then I'll go ahead and go in with my beauty blender to pick it up and actually put it on my face. Alright, so as I apply this onto my face, you'll notice that I really like to pound it in there. The first question from Instagram is, what are our goals for the first year of marriage? And honestly, I can't tell you what Robert's are for this, but I don't have like crazy goals for our first year of marriage. I would honestly just say like, I would love it if we came out of our first year of marriage just a little bit wiser, and more loving, gentler, patient, more compassionate. Honestly, I would say I would love if after our first year of marriage, the both of us were like on the path that we want to be on for our careers. And I would love for us to have like a decent savings built up so that we can start at least having an idea of what our plans are for maybe a house in the future or something like that. And I would just love for us to find a godly community that we can really plant ourselves in, or just like some sort of older couple to mentor, disciple us, because I feel like that is something that's really important to a successful marriage and family in general. Is just, you know, we're called to discipleship, and so I would want that for us, just for like, I don't know, some guidance. I think that would be something that I would really, this is so weird, I'm so not used to this, but that's something that I would really hope for us that we get out of it. But honestly, I don't have too crazy expectations out of our first year of marriage, but definitely like financial savings and just like becoming more wiser and learning more about each other and how to serve the other person better. That's really all I can ask for. Okay, as we are finishing up the foundation here, the next question is, how do you plan on doing your hair and makeup? I'm gonna show you right now. That's from my matron of honor. And then the next one is there anything you are nervous about for the wedding and marriage? Honestly, no. Nothing at all. For the wedding, nervous about for the wedding, I would say. Okay, marriage, no, nothing at all. For the wedding, yes. I really hope that nobody shows up who was uninvited, which sounds, I guess, a little rude, but honestly, like, that just scares me because I know that that does happen, and I know that people are like that, and we have very limited space, and our, like, guest list and spacing is very like defined. Like, we are allowed this many people in that room, and we invited that many people, so I'm just afraid of people bringing plus ones who weren't told to bring a plus one and stuff like that. And I'm also afraid of rain. That's not like a big fear of mine, rain, just because I really don't think it's gonna rain, but it's February, and like our reception is inside, our ceremony is the only thing outside, and like while I want our ceremony outside and while I want our pictures and all that, it really wouldn't be the end of the world to me if for whatever reason that had to be moved inside. It wouldn't be ideal, but it wouldn't be like the end of the world to me. For marriage, I have literally no concerns. None at all. I'm not nervous at all for it. If I could have married Robert today, I would have. So I really don't have any concerns there. I guess my one concern would be that we have babies too soon because neither of us want that right now. We definitely will accept the blessing of a child whenever the Lord decides that it is our time, but I really don't feel like it's right now. I feel like we have a lot of things that we need to get in order first, and we're just not ready for that just yet. The next question is, did you always want to get married at a young age? Is that what it said?
Did you want to get married at a young age? Is that something you always imagined for yourself? Absolutely not. I did not imagine that for myself. I wasn't against it, but I definitely never imagined that that would be me. I had a fair amount of like boyfriends in high school and stuff like that, but I never found it to be something like super serious. I don't know, I did not take dating as seriously as I should have when I was younger. And so I think because of that, I just never really saw myself marrying anybody anytime soon, and I've always been very independent. And that's something that I still am now, but I've just never foreseen myself like wanting to make that commitment so soon. I always imagined myself just being someone older, and I've always been very career oriented, and I thought I was gonna go to med school. So with that, like all of those factors together, I never ever imagined that I would get married at 22. But once I got to college and like I feel like I started getting on a right path with the Lord, and my career plans were changing, and then I met Robert, I was like, I don't even care, like we can get married now, and what's the point of waiting if we both know that we want to be with each other and we can still do all the things we want to do, but we can just do them together. So no, that was not always something that I imagined for myself, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way because I love having Robert in my life for all of these things that are happening. And yes, I am looking a little crazy right now. So right now I am just like I used the Tarte Shape Tape concealer under my eyes. I like a lot of under eye coverage simply because I have some dark under eye circles, and I go ahead and I bring this up to my eyelids too, and I will double this stuff as a primer. So I just go ahead and put that all over my eyelids and up to my brow bone. Again, y'all, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. This is whatever I've collected from years of watching videos on YouTube, and just like a mix of like my normal routine mixed with whatever we're doing now. So please don't come for me if I look insane, because I know I look insane. Another friend on Instagram asked, what does Robert do? Which I find so funny that I guess I've never talked about before. I swear I have, but maybe I just haven't. Robert is, let me get over my lips so I can actually talk. Okay, Robert is a video editor. He went to the University of Florida like I did, the College of Journalism and Communications, but he majored in telecom and video production. I think that was actually part of his major. And so he's a professional video editor. He has worked with different YouTubers in the past and like doing video editing for them and just like different companies and stuff like that. And he's really good at motion graphics and stuff like that too. He's very good at what he does in my opinion. He's super critical of himself, and I always try to remind him that he's actually like really good at what he does. So that is what Robert does. Okay, the next question is honeymoon plans, and did Robert plan it? So yes, actually, Robert kind of sort of did. I was getting really stressed about honeymoon plans just because everything that we wanted to do was just like no longer an option, but I also didn't want to not have a honeymoon, and I didn't want to postpone it because I feel like then it would just be a vacation. It wouldn't feel like a honeymoon. I feel like that's such a special time after your wedding to go off and like just explore and adventure and do something together that both of you have never done, and I didn't want to miss out on that. And so I was getting really stressed about it just because none of the things we wanted to do were available. And so I said, Robert, please just take care of this. Like, I really just don't want to. And so he did, and he found this place. We'll be staying, I'm not gonna tell you guys the exact location, just for like privacy reasons. I don't know. I'm not normally the most safety conscious person, like I probably should be, but Robert is very safety conscious, and so I try to be respectful of that. But we are going to be staying at a really nice beach resort and inn up in North Florida area along the beach, along the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm really excited about it. Like, the place is all inclusive, sort of. It includes all drinks, breakfast, lunch, and then we're just responsible for dinner, which I actually prefer because I really love exploring different places, different restaurants and stuff like that, and I would much prefer that freedom for dinner time. But as far as breakfast and lunch goes, please feed me. So we're gonna be doing that for I think like 4 nights, and then right after we are going to come back home to our cute little apartment, and we are actually going to do a little staycation at Universal and spend 2 days at Universal and 2 nights. We're gonna stay at Cabana Bay for like the last 2 days of our honeymoon and just enjoy
the Universal Orlando Resort area. And as you guys know, actually you guys don't know this yet. I need to tell you guys, I'm working for Universal again. I'm working as a contractor, so it's like a very, very part-time thing, but I am working with my old team and I'm really excited about it because I am doing a lot of the same work that I was doing before, just more on a little bit more of a flexible basis, and it's honestly so perfect. And so I just thank you guys for like praying for me about that. That's why I never made like my internship experience video with Universal, just because I didn't want to make something like that and then ruin my chances potentially. I wouldn't say anything bad, but I don't know, I just would rather not talk about anything I did if I had intentions of working with the company again, just because I was just like, I don't know, there's weird rules about like what you can say you did and what you can say you didn't do and all that stuff. So I didn't want to talk about it if I still had intentions of working for the company, which I did. So now we're here and there's that. But if you ever have any questions about like what I did for Universal, please feel so welcome to ask, because I would love to answer your questions. I just would not do it publicly. I just am afraid. I'm just afraid. There's too many things, too many like top secret things that I'd just rather not talk about. So there's that. Okay, so what I just did to my face, I just put on the Laura Mercier setting powder, translucent setting powder. This stuff is like a godsend. It's very, very mattifying, which I like under the eyes, and it helps control some of the creasage. So I just pack that sucker on and I drag it up to my nose and my forehead because those tend to be a little bit oilier spots. And I will leave that on, and now I'm gonna go ahead and go into eye makeup and work on that for the time being. So we're just gonna zoom in a little closer. Okay, we are very close and personal. As you guys can see, my eyebrows are not done yet. I will do them. I actually like do my eyebrows on my own. I never go and get them done. I stopped doing that. And so really I tweeze them, and that's what I do. And so I try to take care of them. They could definitely use a little bit more attention, but I will definitely pay more attention to what I'm gonna do for them for the wedding. Just today I don't really care that desperately much. And then we do have the concealer on the eyelid. It's still a little bit wet, so we are good to go in there. Before we go ahead and keep answering questions, I'm going to be using the Tartist, I got it. The Tartist Pro palette. It's really pretty. I'll bring it up here. It's really pretty. It smells really nice too. It smells like dessert. And I just think they have really pretty warm shades, and that's definitely the look I'm going for. And they have like nice shimmery colors I would love to use as well. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this. I'm probably not gonna tell you all the colors that I put on my eyelids, simply because I'm gonna be figuring this out as I go. And my brain does not work where I want to talk about two things at one time. So I'm gonna answer questions and put stuff on my eyeballs, and if I remember to say something about what I'm actually doing, then I'll tell you. All right, so next question. How are y'all delivering your vows? So that's an excellent question. We are writing our own vows. So we are writing our own vows, and we are going to say them at the ceremony in front of all of our family and friends. I don't know, to me personally, that's what the wedding is about. So we're definitely gonna do them in public. I want to say them in public. Like, I want people to know how much I love him. So we're gonna do that, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very, very, very excited about our ceremony. Probably the thing I'm most excited about. And then the next question I was asked was, where is the dress that I wore for our engagement photos from? And so that dress is actually from Amazon. I can go ahead and link it down below for you. Honestly, it was perfect for our engagement photos. I've seen on like the Amazon reviews people wear it for their wedding. Not really my style for a wedding, but if you're having like a low-key courthouse wedding or something like that, then go right ahead. I'll go ahead and put the link down below, and I'll put a picture in here of what it looks like so you guys can see. I loved it. I got it on Amazon. It was really affordable too. Big, 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 big fan of that purchase. Now that I put classic in the crease here, I'm gonna wait for that to focus. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with bold. And this is gonna take a little bit more of my focus, so I'm just gonna take a second and focus on what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Yes, I have a mirror underneath me now and I can see so much better. Okay, I'm going in with Innocent on the outer corner of my eye. What's great about putting the setting powder down underneath your eyes before you do the eyeshadow is any fallout from the eyeshadow you can just kind of like brush away with the setting powder. So if I'm getting a little crazy and it looks like I'm like really going hard at my eyeballs,
that's because I simply don't care if it falls out. I can just wipe it off. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with a little bit of Whimsy on the outer corner, which is a deeper orangey color. So we're gonna go very light with that. Now we are going to go ahead and go in with a little bit of Edgy, which is like a darker brown color, which is a little scary, but we're gonna go in and do it. Now is a good point where I can go ahead and start up with questions again. So the next question is my best wedding advice. And y'all, the first thing that comes to my mind is create a separate email address for your wedding. We did our wedding hashtag, which is our story has just begun, and that was it. It's our story has just begun at gmail.com, if you were wondering. Please don't send us emails because it's supposed to be specifically for the wedding. If you really need to contact me, there are many other ways to do so. But we did that, and that was the biggest thing in the world because Robert has it on his phone, I have it on my phone, we both have access to it, and whenever we get an email from a vendor, the both of us can see it, and it is so helpful. Because typically Robert won't respond to anyone, he'll leave it for me, just so that we don't get confused with like who has already communicated with who kind of a thing. But it has been very helpful just because nothing gets lost. If I get an alert from that account, I know it has to do with the wedding, I know it's something that needs my attention. And in Google, I am able to make separate categories for each thing. So my venue has a category, my caterer has a category, my photographer has a category, and everything like that. So every email I get gets put in a place, and that helps so much, so much with staying organized, because then when I'm looking for a contract, very easy to find it. If I'm looking for absolutely anything, it is not hard. I can find it in a second, and it just makes life so easy. So that is my biggest piece of advice. My second biggest piece of advice is don't take other people's advice. Everyone and their mothers is going to want to share their 2 cents and their advice and this and that with you when you're engaged, because everybody thinks that they knows everything about weddings, and even if they do, take everybody's advice with a grain of salt, and if you don't want to hear it, then you just don't want to hear it, and that's okay. Just because it is hard to listen to all of these opinions, and you're going to get thrown a lot of opinions, and people are going to feel different ways about a lot of things. And ultimately it's your wedding day, and if you want something or if you don't want something, put your foot down. Between you and your fiance, you guys decide together, and whatever you decide is final. Like, that is it. And don't let other people's opinions sway it there. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but at the end of the day, like, it is your day, and if you feel a certain way about something, all that matters is how you feel about it on your day. So obviously if you and your fiance don't agree with something, then that's really important because it's both of your days. But if you and your fiance are on the same page about something and other people are making it difficult, then no, cut that out. That's my biggest piece of advice. Truly, just because there's just too many opinions, there's too many things, even on the internet. Like one thing that I had an issue with for my wedding was we are having a dry wedding. We're not doing any alcohol at our wedding, and that is a decision that we both made, and that's just something, like, I don't drink very much, he doesn't drink very much at all, neither of us drink, and alcohol is really expensive at a wedding. And when I say really expensive, I mean it can fluctuate the price of your wedding by like thousands of dollars. And that's just not something that we cared, that wasn't a priority of ours, you know? And so we decided, okay, we're just gonna have a dry wedding, we're not gonna do any of that, we'll have plenty of drinks but nothing alcoholic. We also just didn't really want our wedding to be the place that people felt. I feel like a lot of people view weddings as like, oh, this is my time to eat people's food and drink people's drinks, and I just didn't want that for my wedding. I know you can have fun without it, and it wasn't a priority of ours, so we felt okay doing that, and we felt like if people really loved us, then they would come to our wedding and celebrate with us without it. And lots of people have a lot of opinions on that. Even on the internet, like, there were brides on like certain like bridal websites like The Knot and stuff like that who were like, I would never go to a dry wedding, and I'm like, okay, whatever, then don't come to my wedding. And I just have very little tolerance for that. Like, I think that what the bride and groom choose is what they choose, and I'm going to be happy and celebrate them with regardless, but a lot of people don't view it like that. So that's something that really surprised me about wedding planning, was how opinionated people are about another person's wedding. But yes, so those are my two biggest pieces of advice. A separate email, like making decisions between you and your fiance alone and taking everybody else's opinions with a grain of salt. And then my third biggest piece of advice is set your priorities early. Before you even make a budget, I would say, set what your priorities are. Meaning, like, what do you care about the most on your day? Like, what will you actually, like, be upset if they do not make an appearance at your day? You know, like, do you really want to have a photo booth? Like, is that a big priority of yours? If not, okay. But when you have it on your priority list, then you can budget accordingly for it. Or like, is real floral a big priority of yours? Are you willing to do fake floral, which may be cheaper? You know, there are really cheap, not really cheap, but more affordable floral options, like something borrowed bloom. And if you're okay with that, then like that's a place in your budget where you could wiggle a little bit if you don't have the wiggle room. So making priorities is another really big one, and then sticking to those priorities. We are going to go ahead and put the Glam color from this palette right on the lid. And the next question, while I pack this stuff on my lid, is, are you nervous? You guys are really wondering if I'm nervous, and I think that's really sweet of you guys to care. But no, I'm not nervous. Like, the wedding day is just gonna happen, and whatever happens is gonna happen, and I've done as much as I can, really. And thankfully, I feel like I don't have too many moving parts regarding my wedding day for me to be nervous about. Like, there's not enough going on with our wedding for me to be like super nervous. Like, you know, I don't know. We just don't have a ton of vendors. We don't have a ton of things happening for a bunch of things to go wrong. Like, we don't have enough to go wrong to ruin my day for me to be super nervous. Oh, by the way, now I'm going in with Ethereal on the outer corner, which is just like a deeper bronzy color, and I think that will be pretty on the outer end of my lid. But yeah, we just don't have enough for me to be like super nervous. And as far as the marriage goes, like, I know I want to marry Robert. I knew I wanted to marry Robert for a long time, and I am very confident that we are following like the Lord's will for our lives, and that we are doing the best we can to lead a marriage and life and home that's going to honor God in all that we do. And so because of that, I'm really not nervous at all, and I'm just really, really excited. Do you have any tips on keeping Christ in the center of your relationship? And I feel like we could talk for days about this one. And honestly, this is something that is going to be constantly happening and constantly evolving and changing and working on, and it's going to constantly need work. We are not the best ever. We mess up and we make mistakes, and we have to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, what do we need to revise? What other plans do we need to put into action to make sure that this happens, that this doesn't happen, or that we're better at this? But I think at the end of the day, really, as long as you are leading each other to Jesus in everything, and constantly reminding each other of like your purpose and your mission and your worth in Jesus, then I feel like you're on a good track. We tried doing like Bible study plans on like the Bible app together, but we really did not rely on each other for our like independent faith walks. I feel like we both encouraged each other on our independent faith walks, but we really did have like separate journeys, and I am excited to have the opportunity to kind of come together and work on that together when we're married. But I would say just like leading each other to the cross constantly, and setting very clear boundaries on how you guys are going to honor the Lord in your relationship and what your intentions are there. And that's something that helped me really just like love Robert really early on, as he has always been very, very intentional from the very beginning. And that's something that I loved about him. And that really helped us, I feel like, walk in the direction we're supposed to. I am going to go in with the Sephora Golden Hour, which is a highlighter that I absolutely love to use in my inner eye corner, and my wedding day will be no exception. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the inner corner of my eyes and just kind of like brush that up just a little bit and run it right just under my waterline. Beautiful. Ooh, I love it. Yes. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do it to the other eye. It's just such a pretty color, and I just really like it. And it matches with like the eye look well.
and I love a nice inner eye highlight. I really do. And now that that is cleaned up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and go in with this edgy color just a little bit on the tip of my blending brush here and just kind of wisp it along my waterline. And that is it for our eye look. I'm just going to go ahead and go back in with the classic color, which is like the lighter color, and I'm just going to go back up here and just kind of blend that all in a little bit more, just so this is a little bit more seamless of a transition with colors than choppy. So my camera died, so I went ahead and I did my eyebrows off camera, so that's why they're looking done now. And as you guys can see, my eyeshadow is done. Pretty simple, not too crazy. I promise it looks a lot more blended in person. It's just, what can you do? But okay, anyways, back to business. We are on low battery, so we're gonna get this moving. But I am now gonna go ahead and go in with the Hoola Caramel Bronzer that I just bought today. And we are going to whip this open, get our bronzer and blush on, and then answer some more questions. How did you transition from being friends to in a relationship? When Robert and I first met, we met on strictly business. We were planning a social together for my sorority and his fraternity, and that was pretty much it. That was the goal of that meeting, and I basically didn't really think about him again until later. And then when we re-met again, it was for him to help me out with something again, super platonic, and I offered him coffee and he accepted the coffee offer. And then we just ended up getting coffee together, and when we got coffee together, I feel like we both kind of were just like interested, but not really like in a friendly way, but not really in like a, ooh, I want to date this person way, just like I'm interested. And I feel like after our next couple of hangouts, we never really got the chance. I mean, we were friends because I liked him as a person and I wanted to be his friend, but I feel like both of our minds were already on like, oh no, like we like this person romantically. So I don't really think we ever had like a just friends stage. It was more like acquaintances, getting to know you, and then like in a relationship. Okay, so bronzer is on, and I just bought this bronzer and I really like it, so I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad because I've gone through a couple of bronzers in my day, and I'm glad I like this one. The next question was it hard finding a job post-grad, and when did you start looking? So yes, it has been hard. By the way, I'm going in with the NARS Torrid Blush. Yes, it has been hard finding a job post-grad, but not because of like the field I went into or anything like that. More so it's been me. I've just been really picky about like what I want, and primarily just because of the state of the world and what we're dealing with as a country and society, but not so much for that. I feel like I was as prepared as I could have been leaving college, and I was preparing to accept post-grad plans when everything shut down. I was going to accept a professional internship with Disney, and then of course that kind of went kaputs and now it doesn't exist. So there was that, but thankfully I have been able to make it doing freelance work with a couple of different companies, and now I am back with Universal doing freelance contractor work for them. So yes, it has been hard. If I wasn't so picky with thankfully I'm in a position where I can be picky about what I want. And yes, I am going heavy with the blush because I do like heavy blush. I feel like if I wasn't being so picky about exactly what job I'm getting, it probably wouldn't be so hard to get a job in our industry, but it has been difficult just regardless across the board. So this is my finished face. Camera did again. We're working on it, but basically I was pretty much done. The only thing that I left you guys off doing was I was putting on my blush, and then I added some of that highlighter that I put in the inner corner of my lid, just a little bit up here, very faint, not a big highlighter gal, but just a little bit. And then I went ahead and I did my brows. I just used the NYX micro brow pencil, and I use the color Espresso, and that takes care of the brows over there. And then I went in with the LA Girl Perfect Precision lip liner in blushing, and then I used the Tarte Lippy Lingerie in the color Envy. And these together, they're really good together. They make a really good pair. And I just like this color because it's like a nice pink without being like in your face pink, because I definitely wanted a colored lip for my wedding day. But I am really happy with the way it came out. I told you guys that it looked better than it was looking for you guys. I don't know why I was looking so crazy for you guys when we were up close and personal, but this is like a nice, like subtle, but like still done up makeup look that I got for my wedding day. Like I still got my bronzer and my blush on and my eyes are done, but it's not like in your face super smoky or anything like that, because I just didn't really want that for my day. And I know that it'll look really natural when I'm outside with the outside lighting, because obviously with the direct lighting that we have right now, it's creating a little bit more shadows and more concentrated and saturated color than it is in person. But I am really happy with it. Now let's go ahead and get on to hair. I feel like I can talk to you guys so much more easily while doing my hair than my makeup, just because I can multitask with hair. Makeup, I cannot multitask. But I am really happy with the way my face turned out. Like, I'm feeling myself. Okay. So yes, and now we're gonna go ahead and let go of the hair, and we'll go ahead and get on to our other questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple ideas of like what I'm looking to do for hair over here so that you guys can get an idea of what I'm going for. Really, I'm just going for a down, like a completely just down do, big curls. So I will be curling and then holding and spraying. I'm probably not gonna pin them up just because I am just doing a trial right now, and my hair holds curl really well, so I don't really feel like I need to pin them up right now. Probably on the wedding day I will, but not today. And then I just want all of the curls and such to be over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and like pin down this side in some fashion. And then I will have a veil that will be going in the back of my head. I might tease a little bit back here, but we're just going to go ahead and do the do first, and depending on how I feel about it, then we'll see what we want to do where it goes to teasing and stuff like that. I'm not totally sold on what I do with my hair, so this is us figuring it out together. So we're gonna go ahead and just curl like we would on any old day, but this time we are spraying those suckers, and we're gonna do smaller sections just because I feel like I get a better curl that way, and I want more defined curls for the wedding day. And then I can't find my favorite comb, so I'll be using this wet brush. Ever since I went to the wedding for Hannah Beth, my matron of honor went to her wedding last week. I literally just can't find my comb, and so that's a little unfortunate. But okay, let's get on to our next questions. How many guests do you want at your wedding? So that's a great question. I want 80 people at our wedding. Originally we wanted like 120, 130 people. That would have been ideal for us. Let's go ahead and spray this sucker now. Okay. Oof. I always get like hairspray arm when I use hairspray, like my whole arm is just gross. But let's hope we don't suffocate here. But there we go. Starting off strong. Okay, but yes, we want 80 people primarily because if you have seen our little venue tour video, the one with our actual venue, which I will tag over here so you guys can see it, the room that we really want the reception in is called the Rotunda, and it is just like floor to ceiling windows all over. We really wanted in the Rotunda because we love the windows, we love how it feels like we're outside but we're really not, and that has a capacity of 80 people. We could fit more in there, but if we have more people in there, then we can't have a dance floor in there. And I just really didn't want to have our dance floor in a different room from the actual reception and seating area, because I feel like the more opportunities you give for your guests to move around and be in different rooms, the less you'll actually have them all in the same room. And I didn't want that. I wanted everybody in the same space. I wanted everybody celebrating and dancing and eating and laughing and speeching it up all in the same place. And so by the grace of God, we were able to get our guest list down to 100 just between people not being able to come. And of course, it's unfortunate that a lot of people weren't able to come, but I get the space that I want. So I'm not too upset about it. Of course, there are some people that I'm like, oh, that stinks, but it's okay. And there are some people that I wish we could invite, but we just don't have the space. So we're making that work, and hopefully people aren't upset about it. I know a lot of people aren't too happy about, not a lot of people, some people aren't too happy about the no +1s at our wedding. We only gave +1s to very specific people.
and the plus ones aren't even like a general plus one. They are a, we know you're with this person, we love this person, we are also friends with this person, so this person is also invited. So that's what we did. But we have 80 people, and so I'm really excited about it. All right, I guess, so we've made a little bit of progress. I've been like skipping around, and I'll do some of my hair before going on to the next question, because if not, I will answer all of the questions on like the first layer of my hair, and then you guys will just have to stare at me. So we are on to our like front pieces now. We're like at the very top of my head, which is a good place to be, because this is where I really need to be like intricate about the curls, because if I want them really big, I need them to really frame my face nicely. But the next question on our list of questions was, what did you do in your singleness to prepare you for your relationship? Or at least that's what I thought it said. Yes, what helped you in your time of singleness that prepared for a new relationship? Honestly, not dating was my thing. Was just like not pursuing anyone, and strictly just like pursuing the Lord and trying to better my relationship there. And by no means was my relationship with the Lord perfect, or is it perfect when I found Robert, after I found Robert, right now, like at all. It is constantly growing and getting better and getting worse, and then it's a roller coaster ride, which you guys know. But I think what really helped me was I read the book When God Writes Your Love Story, and that really helped me put my heart in a place where I only wanted what God desired for me. I didn't care what I wanted anymore. Like, I truly only wanted a relationship or a boyfriend or a husband if that is what God desired for me. And if that was not something in his plans for me, then I didn't want it. And when I read that book, much like the main character, like the writer of the book, he was saying how he told God, like, I am not dating anyone else unless it is like it is my husband, or he said unless it's my wife. But then I prayed that same thing, and I was like, I'm not dating anyone ever again unless it's my husband. Like, I'm not. The next person I date is going to be my husband, and it's going to have to be very clear from you for me to say yes to that. And I truly didn't. Like, I wasn't pursuing anyone in my singleness. I wasn't even looking at guys in that way. Like, and I have to say, I think a lot of that was the Lord protecting my heart, in that, like, I didn't even have an interest in anybody at that point. I feel like there was maybe one guy who I was like slightly interested in, and then I was like, actually, no, that's just me being stupid. And then like nothing came out of that, which I'm happy about. But I would just say, like, just really diving into your relationship with the Lord. But I would definitely say, just like, I invested a lot of time into my friendships, which I think was something that I really am thankful for, because now those are some of like the people that I love the most on this planet. I invested a lot into my friendships, and I invested into a lot into like figuring out like what I wanted for my own life, because at that point I was like in a big transition period of figuring out like, okay, what do I want, like moving out of like the health classes to more communications, and I was just figuring things out. And so I really just focused a lot on myself and what my goals were for myself, and where I wanted myself to be, figuring out my dreams, and trying to create a good foundation with my relationship with the Lord. And then Robert just kind of showed up. And so I really think that just like focusing on you is the best thing that you can do. Focusing on you and the Lord and the people that you're going to put in like your God squad around you, then you'll find that like a space will open up for someone else, romantically or not, if the Lord wills that. And that was something like when God made it very, very, very clear that I was meant to say yes to Robert. And like, we went to church one day, and basically Pastor Mike, who is the pastor of Greenhouse Church in Gainesville, we were at the University Auditorium campus, and he basically just flat out said like, listen, this man is like gonna be the wisest you ever had, blah blah blah, which I'm sure will make lots of people laugh, because I'm probably gonna reference that in my vows, but it's true. That's what he said. He said, you might be thinking like, Pastor Mike, why are you talking about this? Like, this is my first time going to church with this person, and this is so awkward. And that was exactly what I was thinking, because it was about relationships. And he was like, and you may be thinking that, but this is gonna be the wisest man you've ever had, blah 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 blah, and all these things about like this hypothetical person who he's talking to, just someone in the crowd. He was definitely talking to me, and it was very apparent to me. I was like, oh, okay. And then that night, Robert asked me to be his girlfriend, and I just knew that I was supposed to say yes. And I pretty much knew who was going to be my husband at that point. I was just very confident in that. And it wasn't even anything about me or about him. It was just very confident in, like, the Lord literally led the whole thing. I had to do nothing. I just sat back and watched as the Lord just unfolded things. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And this also kind of has to do with another question, which I didn't even realize. I like just did all of this while we were talking, which is good. But that leads me into another question, which was, how did you know Robert was the one? And I'm not really sure that I believe in the general concept of the one or soulmates. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, but I do believe that God had somebody picked for me, and I 100% believe that it was Robert. And partially because of so many factors, you know, like, I didn't date anybody until I met Robert, and we had a deal that the next person I dated was gonna be my husband. And then just like all of the things that just came into place, and how intentional Robert was. And I just, like I said, like, I just had to sit back and watch the Lord do his thing, and that's all that happened. And I didn't have to try a single bit, and things just kind of unfolded. And so I think that that was really telling, when nobody really had to really force this to happen. It just kind of happened on its own. But with that, more so on Robert's behalf, like, and saying something about Robert and his character, Robert was just very intentional from the very beginning. And one of our very first dates, we talked about young Christians getting married too soon, and we were like, yeah, they get married too young, blah blah blah. We were on the same page with that, and now we're like getting hitched. So here we are. But just like, even when we are first, I'm pretty sure the night that he asked me to be his girlfriend, he was saying how the next time we saw each other, which was going to be Valentine's Day, he wanted us to write out, like, just like things that the other person should know about the other person that we don't yet. Just like, almost like writing our own little warning label of just things that the other person should know, so that we can be really intentional in pursuing the other person. And I don't know where he got that from, and I don't know, I have to ask him, we have to talk about that again. But that was just so strange to me, but in a good way, that he wanted to go in this with like a battle strategy of like, what should I know about this girl? And I just found that so interesting. There were so many things he did like that, and how he loved me and showed me that he loved me and wanted to be intentional and pursue me, that was just like unlike anything I'd ever known. And so I just knew from the beginning, and that's just telling on Robert. But aside from that, really, it was just, I could see the Lord's hand moving in all of it. I'm only gonna brush out the ends, or like halfway down, and not the top part, because I do still want this to have some definition up top. But going back to the last question that I answered of like, how did I know Robert was the one, I really could not suggest any more, if you're going into a new relationship, to do that and like write like a little, like have each other write a very intentional like letter to the other person of like, almost like, not like a warning label, not like negative things, but like, I call it a warning label because it's like, here are the nutrition facts, or like, here's like the directions, but just like ways that we like to be shown love and ways that we don't, and just some things like some things in our lives that we don't necessarily need to unleash and like spill out right now, and it'll come up eventually, but just that you should be aware of, because I feel like that was super intentional that we did, and I feel like that helped us a lot, because it helped me a lot knowing like, okay, how can I love this person in a way that they'll receive it the best without having to go through all of the process and trial and error of finding that out. And while we still did that, it was just a very helpful and intentional way of doing that. But yes, okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and just figure out something here. Okay, everybody, so basically what I just did was I just combed out this way down, and I just kind of combed those, but I kind of left this front piece out of it because I really like the way of going, and I wanted to frame my face that way. I just wanted big waves, and I think I got that, so I feel pretty good about it. And so now really the only thing that I'm going to do is smooth out this part over here, and then I'm going to clip it back but I want to smooth it out in a way so like I'm not sure if I want to bring it back, like smooth it out and back, or if I want to smooth it down and pin it down. I actually think I just answered my question, and I think I like it down more than back. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of that, and then we're gonna pin it down here. And the reason that I want one side pinned down is because I bought these beautiful earrings that I'll put a picture in here, and I think they're gorgeous, and I want people to see them because I want my hair down, but I want people to see my earrings, you know. And this side of my face I don't really care to have down anyways, so I'm gonna do that. A lot of people, when they do something like this and they pin this part down, they'll put like a fancy clip there, but I don't want to have like fancy clip and then fancy earrings, so I think I'm just gonna do the black bobby pins like I have here, and then maybe like bring some hair like over just a little so that it blends in just a little bit better. But I don't know, I like the look. Let's go get the veil and see how it looks. So I couldn't resist and I put the whole get up on, and I'm really digging this look. So I like the big waves over here. I will definitely tease them a little bit before I curl them when I do them on the wedding day, and then obviously give them like a lot more of a spray, and then spray them after so that everything is just like in place. But I like the big waves. That's exactly what I wanted, like really nice and voluminous on this side, and then I pinned it straight down on this side with just some bobby pins, and I recurled the bottom pieces, which again I would spray on the actual wedding day, and then I went ahead and I tucked my veil in, and I will probably bobby pin, have somebody do it for me, bobby pin the veil on both sides before the ceremony, just because it does slip a little. I don't want to be worried about it falling, but I do really like the way that this came out. I'm loving what's happening over here. I'm loving the waves on this side. I'm living for it. It has like a very regal vibe, which I'm here for. And then I really like how this is pinned down and how it looks from the side. And I'm almost kind of glad that it's a little bit cleaner on this side, and then it just kind of like goes down with the curls down my back. I think it's really flattering, and then I think when the earrings come in, it'll look really nice, especially because I'll be photographed on this side when I'm saying my vows. And I won't have hair covering my face, which I think is almost a good thing. It'll just be a very clear view of my face, but still the hair looks put together and nice and neat. I'm really feeling it. I'm really living. I have my veil on and I'm very excited about it. I think the lip color is really good. I really like the lip color. And it's holding up pretty well. I've done a lot of talking, so it's passing the test. And all of the makeup looks really good, I have to say. Like, I'm not mad about any of this. Let's see what the eyeshadow looks like now. I'd say it looks good. I think it could probably be blended out a little bit better, but for today's purposes, it looks great. So this is kind of like the natural look that I was going for, where like the eyes have like a little bit of stuff going on, but nothing too crazy. But I'm feeling really good. I'm really excited. I am, as you guys can tell, I'm already giggling. I'm pretty happy about it. But yeah, that was my hair and makeup for my wedding. I'll give you guys a little action of the wedding dress here. Robert will be told not to watch this video. But before we sign on out, y'all, I'm really feeling my hair. It looked really crazy when we started doing the makeup. I know I looked insane then, and I know I looked insane when we started doing the hair, but look at where we have come so far. But basically I think I answered all of your questions. I'll go ahead and answer a couple really quick. So the only ones that I haven't really answered yet was, one, would you have expected how your relationship turned out? And honestly, the very first moment we met, no. But after our first like little hangout, yes. I could have, just because the very first time we met, I didn't really have like, I wasn't even thinking about him as a person. I was thinking of as the job. But after our first little hangout, which we consider like our first date at that Starbucks, I 100% could see where we are now. Am I ready for the wedding? Mentally and emotionally, yes. Like literally, no. We still have to move into our apartment. Next Thursday, we officially move in. We move in all of our stuff. We're not actually moving in ourselves, our bodies, until after the wedding. And there are a couple of details for the weddings that still need to be sorted out. But overall, yes, I'm very ready and excited. But there are just still some details that need sorting out. Was it hard having a long-ish engagement?
I would not say that ours was long. It didn't feel like our engagement was long. But then again, 2020 was insane. So there was definitely enough going on to make it feel like the engagement was short. But I feel like we needed all of that time just to get things in order and straight. So yes, it was hard, especially because like we don't get to see each other more than like maybe once a week if we're lucky. So that part is hard, and like making sure we're keeping our boundaries straight is hard, but I feel like we needed that time, and it'll be extra sweet when the time comes. Thankfully, I feel like it wasn't too long. It'll only be like a 8-month engagement, I want to say, maybe 10 months, May to February. So yeah. Alrighty guys, so those were all the questions. I know I didn't answer them the best that I could have, just because I was trying to multitask and I'm not the best, so I'm sorry. If you guys have any specific questions that you like really want to hear from me, like a straight answer on, like please DM me and I will answer them for sure. But that is pretty much it for today's video. Thank you guys for following along as I got all glammed up for my trial run. Honestly, I'm ready to go walk down the aisle right now. I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm really hoping that my hair grows out just a little bit longer before February 11th. I'm taking my vitamins, so we're on our way to trying that out, but I would really love that. But I am really feeling this look, and I think this is exactly how it's gonna go. And once I get the earrings on, you guys know I will show you, because I think they're like exactly what this look needs. And I'm not gonna do any necklaces or bracelets or anything. It's literally just gonna be the earrings that will finish this look completely. And I'm thinking about doing false lashes. I haven't totally decided on that one yet, but I might. I don't know. I feel like I don't really need it based on how my face looks right now, but it could never hurt. So I'm gonna try those out and see how I feel about that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. We're all excited, and I just can't wait. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.